All righty, folks. Hope you're having a good, safe Wednesday evening. Well, Meteorologist Todd Howell here in the Channel 10 WBIR Streaming Center. I want to bring you an update. Yeah, we are seeing some mixed wintry precipitation. A couple of concerns I'll go ahead and let you know up front. Number one, much colder air is going to be moving back in tonight. Well, I say much colder. We're looking at lows tonight in the low to mid 20s here in the valley and upper teens, mid to upper teens on the plateau in northern counties. And the ground has been cold, as we all know, the last couple of weeks. We've had those winter storms, so we've had the snow and the ice, and off and on the last couple of weeks, of course, the snow this past weekend. So the ground is still very cold. So with that colder air in the 20s and teens moving back in tonight, any moisture on area roads could refreeze, and we could be talking about black ice and some icy roads. So number one, that's one of the initial concerns. Even if we did not have any more precipitation falling to add to that potential icy and slippery road conditions, but we do. We have wintry mixed precipitation in the form of sleet, rain, and even some snowflakes reporting around the region. So a lot of different details to get to. It's mainly going to be our radar and Futurecast, and I'll get right to that in a moment. And even as we're speaking, I'm seeing my phone's buzzing, and I've got our meteorologists Becca Sweet, Mike Simon, Cassie Naw, and Julia Quady also chiming in. We've got sleet in Powell that's been going on for about an hour. This was as of 32 minutes ago. Kimberly Merrick, and thank you for that post. This is on our Facebook post. This is our live stream right now. Let us know what you're seeing, and we'll do our best to get that answer for you, and we appreciate you letting us know. We appreciate you following along. This is one of the best ways on your phone or right there, if you're watching us on TV, on the app right there, our WBIR Plus streaming app. One of the best ways, because we can spend more time going over the details and really get down to the nuts and bolts of what's happening with weather. And we personally like it as meteorologists because it's kind of like our version of the Weather Channel, where we're not bound by commercials and time, and we can pretty much go as long as we want to, so to speak. Anyway, but I respect your time, and we'll get right to it here in a moment. We've got sleet in Powell, sleet in Carnes. These are all within the last 30 to 45 minutes. Sleeting in Halls. Sleet has a beat. It's a frozen raindrop bouncing off the ground, mixing with some rain. Outside our station, we've got a little sleet mixing with rain, and David Rayborn's Jeep, which is red, nice Jeep, it's got a little bit of a thin layer on top of it as well right now, mixing with the rain. You are welcome, Pam Gibson. Thank you for tuning in on our Facebook feed there and chiming in. And Rihanna Harbin, and sleeting in Carnes right now. Those are some of the reports that we have coming in. And again, I've just got more information coming in on that. So again, let us know what you're seeing in your area. Let's start off with what we're seeing right now. I've got some different camera views, of course, we'll show you. This is a live view from our Parkway camera in Sevierville in Sevier County. Now, the main streets are, of course, wet, and it's hard to tell right now because it's kind of foggy and cloudy. It's mainly been rain, but there is some sleet mixing in at times in parts of Sevier County as well. So that's what's happening in Sevier County. But again, colder air rushing in, so that moisture is likely going to be freezing. Wow, I looked at this just before I came on, and it was mainly some rain, but you can clearly see. Let me take it full, but let me show you what I'm talking about first. You can clearly see those are partially melted snowflakes. I call them slush flakes. You know, when they hit and when they splat on your windshield, that's the process of mixing, especially when you're going from a warmer air mass to a colder air mass. You see that happen. If you look closely, when it hits the windshield and it kind of splats and separates out, and you see little ice crystals, that's when you know you're going from rain to snow. When you see these slush flakes, they're basically, again, partially melted snowflakes that drop and plop out of the sky. You can kind of see them. They look different falling from the sky. Rain has a steady rate. Slush flakes fall faster. That's another way you can see it visually. But that's what we're seeing right now. Sorry, I'll take it full so you can see it better. So here's what we're looking at. If you also look in the light, again, you can see the steady nature. So it still looks like we have the rain. As soon as it gives me the camera control, there we go. So here's what we're seeing. This is a live view from our Dandridge Dock in Douglas Lake. Of course, you may remember we were talking about this going back to last Friday night where it was getting covered with snow. There's still a little bit leftover snow. The rain helped melt a little bit. By the way, that's still some ice on Douglas Lake right there. Too thin to walk on, no. But here's what we're seeing. The rain mixed with some partially melted snowflakes. So that's the first camera view that we're looking at. That's from Douglas Lake and Dandridge. Here's a live view from our Covenant Health Park Smokies camera. And again, it just looks wet. I can't really see anything falling in the foreground. Here's what it looks like from our downtown Knoxville camera. And again, same story. It's just with some sleet mixed with rain, unless it's just really snowing heavily, which it's not. It's just hard to see exactly what's falling there. But we just still have some rain and some sleet. And here's a live view of our tower camera as we look over Sharps Ridge camera looking over downtown Knoxville. So that's a viewpoint around the region of our temperatures, or excuse me, of the sky conditions and what's falling. A mixture of sleet, rain, and even some snow and those slush flakes. Now, a moment ago at the airport, we had our interesting sleet icon. It kind of looks like coalesced hailstones, but anyway, sleet was falling at the airport a moment ago. Now we're seeing a mixture of some rain and wet snowflakes. So we've got, this is what's going on. The warmer air and the colder air is mixing literally in the atmosphere. If you could just, if you could color the air or the wind, you would see that, you can't see, it's not warm and blue, of course, but you can kind of just picture that if you had the warmer air and the cold air mixing in. And so that's what we're seeing. Colder air is starting to work its way in from top down and from north to south. We have north winds at 10 miles per hour. Feels like 25 outside. That's our current wind chill, but we're 33, almost to freezing. And with the resonant cold ground in place from the last couple weeks, it won't take much cooling. As soon as we get to freezing and below, again, the ground is already pretty cold. So we're concerned about the potential for ice with moisture refreezing. Again, that's the number one concern as colder temperatures move in tonight. But light snowfall is expected through this evening. And while we're not expecting a whole lot of snow, it looks like it's going to be a light accumulation, mainly on elevated grassy surfaces and objects. But we are going to be seeing, it looks like, unfortunately, a thin cover of some snow on some untreated back and secondary roads because of that resonant cold ground in place. Again, the atmosphere waving a flag a little bit that we had even more of that snow shower activity coming out of Kentucky. You know, Douglas Lake still has a little bit of ice over, even after the recent rains. It was a cold rain, not a warm rain. So everything's still cold. And so that's why there is going to be concern for some slick and hazardous roads that are untreated tonight. So don't let your guard down. Stay warm, bundle up, and drive carefully for the rest of tonight into tomorrow morning with black ice and slippery, perhaps thinly light snow-covered roads possible. So that's what we're seeing right now. 33 with a wind chill of 25. Just wanted to show you the almanac. 40 was our high today, and that's a look at precipitation so far, a little over 3/10. All right, so here's a look at the current temperatures. Notice on the plateau, you're already in the 20s, below freezing. It's 32 in La Follette, 33 in Maynardville and Knoxville, down to freezing in Maryville. And I didn't, if I failed to mention this, I think I did. Becca Sweet said it's snowing in Oliver Springs. That was another update coming in just before I came in about 10, 15 minutes ago now. So that's another update to pass along to you. I'm seeing a thin band. I'll get to radar in a moment. That's coming in from Oliver Springs, Oak Ridge, and Clinton, Anderson, Roane County. Thin band of some snow that's started to move its way back in. So we'll talk more about that coming up. But again, snow in Oliver Springs to add to that total. 30 in Kingston and Wartburg. So you got the below freezing temperatures working their way in. In addition to that, some of that light snowfall expected. Here's our lows tonight, and this is one of the main concerns with that black ice potential. Teens on the plateau, low to mid 20s. And so again, that's the other main flag waving in the atmosphere and on the ground, if you will, that there's a strong chance that we're going to have to deal with at least some icy and slick roads due to the cold ground and the colder air moving in. And simply the moisture itself refreezing, but we're adding in on top of that a light wintry mix of some rain, sleet, and even some snow and light accumulations of snow. We could see anywhere from, and you'll see this in a moment on our snow map, anywhere from a dusting to a half-inch possible. So it's mainly light, but the ground's already cold, and we talk about this a lot. It only takes a little bit to cause more issues, and sometimes that little bit is worse than if you get added up. We added up in many areas this past weekend, right? So again, snow that was kind of a fluffy snow, but you tend to get better traction on top of snow instead of your wheel or tire being closer to the pavement with only a thin layer of snow. That's when it's almost the worst and slickest, if you will. Okay, so that's the other big concern with those cold temperatures. So here's what I wanted to highlight. Black ice possible tonight. Again, refreezing is expected on area roads as these colder temperatures in the teens and 20s move in. So just bringing this stream to you now to give you that heads up that tonight and in the morning, watch for those icy spots on roads and slick conditions. In addition to the refreezing and black ice with the cold temps, we got the potential light snowfall. Now, and again, it's not expected to add to a whole lot, but we could see anywhere from a dusting to a half inch for the lighter shade of blue here. And we got that dusting to an inch possible up in Virginia, maybe a half inch to an inch in some of the mountains. So it kind of is basically a coating or a dusting up to a quarter of a half inch. A lot of our model guidance, a lot of them have been showing anywhere from 0.2 to 0.5. So that's basically a quarter to a half inch is our potential. Now, most of that could be on the car top and the grass, and that would be better, right, than the roads. But some of that could be on the roads because it's been so cold lately. So that's that 1-2 punch. Cold air, cold ground, black ice possible, icy roads, light snow. In combination with that, on top of that even, could make those roads very slick and hazardous. So don't let your guard down and use caution. And again, particularly on any roads that are untreated overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning. So that's a check of what we're seeing. Here's the bigger picture. Now we'll get to the radar and we'll go view by view and do some storm tracking here. Here's what we're seeing. You see this batch of snow that's developing out of Kentucky that's starting to move its way into East Tennessee. The actual area of low pressure that we were watching the last couple of days, and as meteorologists here at Channel 10, we were kind of looking at it and saying, yeah, keep an eye on that one. It was showing that potential for a light mix to light snow, which is what we're seeing. But the reason we're saying keep an eye on it is a low pressure, and you could just kind of tell by the pattern, and now we're seeing it on radar playing out. It just had that look, had that potential that it could feed back enough to give us that chance for light snowfall. And with the colder air moving in, yeah, that was the concern, that we could have some slick and icy and treacherous roads redeveloping across the region. So the rain helped us out. We've stayed above freezing last night, but now it's below freezing tonight. And with actually the fact that we had some rain earlier, any moisture, that's actually one of the main issues. That's going to have a chance to freeze. So, as opposed to just, not having any rain and then going to light snow. So that moisture adds to the issue. All right, so let's zoom on in and talk about what we're seeing. The green is rain, the pink is sleet mixed with rain or mixed with some wet snowflakes, and some of those slush flakes, partially melted snowflakes as we were talking about earlier, and the blue is all snow. So it looks like it's mixing, but seeing more of the scattered snow showers just the last little bit showing up across the Lakeway area, Dandridge, Morristown, also Newport, Greenville, Pigeon Forge, Knoxville to Maryville, Knox and Blount County. That's another bit of that batch. I mentioned that thin line kind of making its way Oliver Springs, Marlowe community, heading down into Oak Ridge, up toward Clinton, approaching Rocky Top, coming through Campbell County, seeing some light snow. And we had a report, this has been a few hours ago now, that Sunbright had the roads covered, sidewalks covered, as that snow was developing in Morgan County. So you can see more of that developing. One quick point on this. This is using a composite of 3 different radars, 4 actually. But yeah, and so up on the plateau, snow is a lower elevation event. Sometimes that radar beam is shooting over, this is the snow falling, sometimes it's shooting over the top of that snow falling. So it's not necessarily seeing that snow falling, if you will, coming to it. So a lot of times it's over the top of it. And so a lot of times we saw that actually this past Saturday. We saw it kept snowing most of the day, even though not all of it was showing up on radar, but sometimes you'll see that. The atmosphere wants to wring out that moisture. So we've got these scatter bands of mixed precipitation. You can see how they're in lines in bands. So that's the nature of what we'll likely be seeing from now through, it looks like about 10 to 11 p.m. So we've got about a 3 or 4 hour window to see this wintry precip. Once we get past 11 p.m., it will taper to flurries, and after midnight, most of the moisture starts to exit, and then we're just dealing with a cold night and anything freezing up on the roads potentially. So that will be the concern the rest of the way tonight. But wintry precip between now and 11 p.m. basically. So that's what we're seeing locally. Again, just to point out, and I'll take it full for you. Here's what we're looking at from Knoxville down to Maryville, Alcoa Highway, Chapman Highway. Let's use this one over here, Todd. Here's a look at what we're seeing right there as I go from Knox down into Blount County. So it's basically a mix of rain, sleet, and some wet snow. There's a look at some of those slush flakes showing up and I'm going to go back to the actually Douglas Lake in a minute because this is actually moving into Dandridge. And you got more mixed snow from White Pine, Mossheim, Newport, and Whitesburg up toward Morristown and coming out of Jefferson County. Rutledge had sleet mixing in earlier. Got reports of that in the Corrington area. And many areas have seen mixed precipitation kind of passing through. So right now, again, from Anderson and Campbell County, that's that next batch of snow approaching Clinton, Rocky Top, Andersonville, Norris, and coming down toward Marlowe and Oak Ridge, back up into Scott County. I got one of our viewers in Robbins that said, yeah, actually there was a road before it started snowing that was totally ice covered. It looked like it was all gravel, but it was totally covered in ice. All right, we're going to take you to different radar stops right now. Here's what we're seeing right now in Fentress County, Scott County, and Morgan County, the northern plateau. You've got light snow showers. So it's cold enough all throughout the layers of the atmosphere to support all snow, and that's eventually what the rest of us are expected to see. I'm just going to go through the different radar views all around the region, and we'll get to your Futurecast for the rest of tonight coming up. I mentioned Rocky Top, La Follette, Habersham up in Campbell County, and continuing northern sections of Campbell County up near Jellicoe, back into Scott County, you're seeing some scattered light snow. Again, a lot of this could be covering the roads and the ground, so with temperatures in the 20s right now, and you're heading down the teens. So again, big time flag waving across our plateau and northern counties where it's going to be even colder and more pronounced, potentially icy and treacherous roadways. So heads up there, and probably time to get off the roads, especially in some of these northern counties, as we'll start to see those roads increasingly becoming slick and icy as we go through this evening and overnight. Morristown, Morrisburg, as you go from Hamlin County up into Hawkins County, Granger County, including around Washburn, Thornhill, and continuing up toward Bean Station and Rutledge. We're seeing some of those light snow showers coming across Clinch Mountain and Veterans Parkway, 11W, 11E. You're seeing some of those snow showers. Morristown, Lakeway area, you've had a go of it, huh? How about that this past weekend? And just this weak system, you know, it's just still in that pattern where we have the resident cold air that never got all the way scoured out. Even though we had the rain, that was warm air aloft that kept us mostly rain, but it was still cold yesterday and last night and today. And so we're only 40 today. So anyway, it's still cold, and the atmosphere, it still wants to snow and be wintry a little bit until we change the air out. That will take place starting the second half of this weekend and especially next week. Big warm up coming next week. So if you're kind of tired of the cold and the snow, and we're talking about the winter weather, I know a lot of folks ready for the warmer weather. On the other hand, if you want more snow and you love it, you're probably glad to see it outside your window a little bit here tonight. Drive carefully, though. That's the issue. Icy roads and slick conditions, so definitely be safe. Mohawk in Greene County, you're seeing those snow showers. Rogersville, Hawkins County, and Baileyton, Geraldstown along Interstate 81. You're seeing those snow showers increasing right now in Greene County, and you also saw a lot of snow this past weekend. I mean, there were widespread areas that had 10 to 12 inches in some of these counties coming into Greene County and parts of upper East Tennessee. It's amazing. All right, Gatlinburg, Sevier County, seeing that mix going over to more snow showers. I mentioned Maryville over toward Wallen, rain, sleet, mixture of snow showers. And so that's what it looks like right now. Again, sliding over. We're seeing this again moving, actually sliding through Knoxville. Not as much as you work your way down toward the Southern Valley. So this is particularly from Crossville, kind of to Knoxville, a little bit down in Blount County and north. So it's not as much in the Southern Valley. And as we slide on up, speaking of Crossville, in Cumberland County, Clark Range, again, seeing those light snow showers. Here's this band of batch of light snow, again, Oliver Springs to Oak Ridge and Norwood. So coming in from Roane County, Kingston, you're likely seeing a little bit of light snow flurries right now for you, passing through Rockwood and Harriman. I did get a report earlier. Let's see if I can find that. It was on Facebook Messenger, and I got some more to share with it. It was snowing. I couldn't remember if it was Rockwood or Harriman. I knew it was one of those in Roane County, so I'll try to find that. Shocker here, snowing in Chestnut Hill in Jefferson County, where it traditionally and typically, if it's going to snow in Jeff County, it's typically going to be, as you all know, in Jefferson County, it's snowing there. At the base of English Mountain, 1,670 feet. Thank you, Jeremy Thornton, for that report. Came in 7 minutes ago, snowing in Chestnut Hill at the base of English Mountain. So there you go. Let's see, there's a total random thing I had to read. Let's see, and looking for more reports. Again, that was the earlier report I mentioned that we had that report of some snow in Rockwood and in portions of Roane County. Sleet in Rutledge, that was actually earlier. 33 minutes ago, ice on our cars in West Maryville. All right, so that's the other issue. Again, any water, we actually have had rain and drizzle mixed with a little bit of sleet, and it's freezing now in Maryville. So let me take you back to that real quick. I want to go back to our current temps, and we're going to go back to Dandridge. But that's just coming in. Sleet in Corrington 7 minutes ago. Rachel Kidd. Thank you, Rachel, for that report. And again, the ice in Maryville. See, Maryville's 32. No wonder 33 in Knoxville. Just want to double check that. Again, these are temperatures that were back at 7. It's going to be changing. Will likely be probably freezing and coming up. And just a total side note, at my house, it's 32.4. I can't tell you exactly where that is, but it's in Knox County. So anyway, we're close to freezing. 28 in Crossville. Let's go back and talk about what we're seeing. I wanted to show you the Douglas Lake camera. I believe that's tower cam. Let me back it up to Douglas Lake and we'll show you that. So here's what it's looking like and see if we got any changes there. No, still looks about the same. Still looks like we got that mix of rain, some of that partially melted snowflakes, a little bit of wet snow. It's just it's not fast. It's just not a fast changeover. But from best I can tell, that's still rain and wet snowflakes, and it may even have some sleet mixed in as well. Let us know what you're seeing in Dandridge or anywhere in East Tennessee. We appreciate your reports, and I'll try to follow along with that as well on this stream, and there's a kind of way to do that. So if you'll bear with me a second, I'll try to see if I can find that, and I'll try to answer your questions. But again, that's the main story of what we're seeing with that wintry mix that's continuing to fall. By the way, you can there's some interesting posts on our main Channel 10 page, and also on some of our weather Facebook page of snow days, etc. All right, let me turn my volume down so we don't get feedback there. And here we go, that worked. Okay, sorry, bear with me. Probably could have been here to begin with. So I'm seeing your comments now. Sorry about that. We'll do this from now on. Sorry. This is how we used to do it on Facebook Lives. Ground is white in Crossville, says Donnie Gibson. Thank you for that report. 33 in Jefferson City and snow. Okay, so here we are in Dandridge. And again, that could be, it's probably that wet snow rain combo. Again, it's just hard to see when it's not totally a solid snow flake or crystal. It looks like it's just heavy. Garrett says, Knox County, please send those kids back to school. Okay, I'll just go do the weather part. Again, we focus on what falls from the cloud to the ground, right? Thereafter, other people take responsibility for that. So, yeah, let me just do the forecast. Snowing in Sharps Chapel, Teresa Bailey, thank you for that. Snowing, wet snow in White Pine. Again, you can see this as well. I'm just reiterating. Mary Lee said black ice in the morning. Yep. Snowing in Hawes. Matt Wilbur, thank you for that report. Yes, Bonnie says we want Hamlin County to go back to school. Isn't it hilarious is probably not the right word. Isn't it fascinating, interesting? We were so warm the first half of January, and I didn't do it. A switch was flipped, right? The second half of January and so far into February. I mean, the last 2 or 3 weeks, we have been very cold, and hello, winter. We had that ice, snow / rainstorm, winter storm. You know how Nashville dealt with that? We had our heavy snow this past week. So all of a sudden, we've certainly went from not having to use any snow days, and now we've been in that mode the last couple of weeks. And as you know, it's not just the snow, it's the very cold temperatures that follow. Then you have the typical refreezing. And now here's a quick point. I will say this, again, we're just meteorologists, so we're trying to do our best to get it right, which is always a challenge in East Tennessee, right? We all know that. But it's a challenge. But I tell you what else, a challenge for school superintendents and districts. It's not as simple as I look out, like in Knoxville, and I look out in downtown and the roads are totally fine. How are the roads up in high school? Coreyton, Strawberry Plains, Thornhill Grove, you got it. When you get out in rural areas, this is the complicated part. Those roads can still be ice covered and snow packed. Even when the main roads that get more treatment and get treated more, those roads can be fine in more of your urban and suburban areas. And this is classic. This is not just East Tennessee. This is anywhere. So whenever you have an area that has more of the availability of resources and treated roads, once you get out in rural areas and out in the country, so to speak, those back and secondary roads where school buses have to go, see, that's the issue. As when I first moved here in Knoxville, good friends in Farragut, they said, we always thanked our neighbors and friends up in Halls. And it's just an example. Because if it didn't snow in Farragut in West Knox County, and it did in Halls, it could be totally fine roads and dry. This is just an example in Farragut. But they were out of school because school buses couldn't get on the roads in Halls. So you see how that works? Knox County can be very complicated, just Knox County alone. So that's what superintendents and school officials have to deal with. It's not as easy as, yep, that road's wet and we're totally fine. Not everywhere is like that. So anyway, you know that, but just to kind of give more information, it's complicated. It's like a lot of things. It's like weather. It's complicated. We wish it was more clear cut, right? It's like life, right? sometimes it's complicated. It's not always as easy as that. I know we all wish it was. Believe me, I wish the weather was a lot more clear-cut sometimes. All right, so but anyway, that's what we're looking at as far as that, some of those complicated things. All right, let me see if there's any more. Light dusting still falling, says Don Leonard. Don, I've seen you post before, but I can't remember exactly where you're posting from. You may be in Crossville. I may be totally guessing wrong. Again, we're looking at Dandridge. It seems like we got more slush flakes behind me. Teresa says, are they going to be back? Is it going to be black ice here in Sharps Chapel today? Was the first day I was able to get out, and most roads are still bad here in Sharps Chapel. There's a good example. That's in Sharps Chapel's in Union County. Let me hop over back on the radar. And again, we're basically done. I just wanted to give you the updated information. That is definitely snowing more, isn't it? You can see those slush flakes coming down more. Sorry, when you see that, it's hard to move off that map. But we're basically done, but I wanted to bring you the updated information and give you that info. So let me go back to our local radar. And Sharps Chapel in Union County. So Teresa, to answer your question, is there going to be black ice? Yes. That's, unfortunately, I don't really see how we're going to get around not having that. Now, except where they're able to treat it. But here's the thing with treating. See, a lot of times you can't really put the brine down when it's raining because the streets are wet. You can do you can mix granular salt and sand, do other things like that. That's what they came back and did, on Saturday once the brine was out of here. And it only works effective, and once you get down the teens, it's less effective. But anyway, but it's hard to do it when the streets are wet. And so a lot of times they have to, as soon as it stops raining and then it switches over to snow or gets colder, a lot of the crews are like, okay, on your mark, set, go, here we go. Now we can go and treat. So if they're not able to treat as quickly or as effectively because of the rain beforehand, that's the issue. And now it's already snowing. So you've got a combination of cold air moving in and a cold resident ground in place with moisture. It's just a matter of how much icy. So hopefully it's not widespread as much, but that's why we're doing the stream, because it looks like potentially we could have. I mean, we've been so cold. That's mainly the issue. If we hadn't been cold in the past week, and we're just seeing the 20s, it would not be nearly as potentially impactful. But this could be impactful with those icy, slick roads because of how cold we've been, as you know. So yes, to answer your question, expecting black ice up in, thank you, Don. I was guessing. I thought I've seen your post before, so thank you for that report from Cumberland County in Crossville. Light dusting still falling, says Don. That's in Crossville. Will it cover the roads later tonight in Farragut? Kelly in Farragut asked that. It's possible, Kelly. We're looking at that potential. It looks like it could be a thin coating. Again, it's almost like what we call a skiff or a light coating or dusting. It may amount to 1/4 inch in some areas, but it may only be a dusting. A little bit more on elevated surfaces where it'd be obvious, like right now, you may be able to look out on your car top and see a little, what I call milky gray. It's when it first starts to slush and mix. One of the first features is metal or like a car top or a deck, a wood surface, wood or metal, objects that cool faster, like a car top or like a wood deck surface, railing, things like that. That's where you're first going to see that. And if you want to compare your driveway, it usually sticks to a driveway if it happens to be asphalt versus the road, because the road's going to retain more heat. Asphalt will both retain more heat but also release heat faster than other cement, concrete. You can see this play. It's just the nature of different surfaces. It's actually fascinating. I'll be honest, snow was the one thing I loved growing up as a kid, and I used to spend lots of hours watching snow falling and watching different surfaces when it would stick, because I was obviously waiting to see if we'd get out of school. Full disclosure. Okay, so it's fascinating to watch. You can see it on the edges of the roads. That's when you know it's about to stick to the main roads, when it gets on the edges and the curbs. And your driveway first and then the main road. Let's see. Somebody says, Lisa said, I'm leaving on a plane at 1:30 tomorrow. Do you think you'll be okay? Yeah, should be fine. Chilly and dry tomorrow. They'll have a chance to treat the roads and surfaces, especially later in the afternoon. It's going to be cold in the upper 30s, but it should be fine by that. Let's see. Will Greenback have black ice? Yes. Most all areas, again, just to reiterate that, and I'll go back 2 maps. Most all areas are expecting black ice. Now, again, this is actually, what you see right here is from the National Weather Service in Morristown, and we're just using that as a special statement. So you can go to the National Weather Service at Morristown's homepage and you see the same thing. They're reiterating. And by the way, the National Weather Service office at Morristown, that's who puts out the official forecast, watches, warnings, advisories, special statements. That's our National Weather Service office. They do a great job up in Morristown. So they do fantastic. But that's where our official weather information comes to. And as meteorologists on TV or other meteorologists, we relay that information to you. Now we do our own forecasting. It may be exactly the same, may be different, somewhere in between, but we relay that information to you. So this is from the Weather Service. So they're basically saying all of East Tennessee and also up in Kentucky and Virginia has a chance for black ice. I know it's not showing that on the plateau, but you got a chance for black ice and snow-covered roads. It's different. Nashville covers Cumberland and Ventris because they're in Central Time Zone for you. Jackson covers Kentucky. Morristown covers Lee County, Virginia, Southwest Virginia, and the rest of East Tennessee. And so in addition to black ice, we're looking at light snowfall possible. Let me try to get to as many of these as I can. Again, you obviously hop off if you want, just go about your evening. Just respect your time. Thank you for joining us. Just wanted to be thorough and try to answer as many questions as I could for you. So let's see, Peyton says, I work night shifts. Should I be good to work tonight and be able to leave tomorrow in Kingston? That's a good question. Main roads that are probably still get more traffic. It all depends on, your route. Is it flat? Are you on main roads? Do you have to go around a lot of hills or back roads? A lot of times the route makes that difference and call for you. A lot of times, right now when I come into work, I can get on a treated road and it's mainly flat. I have to deal with some hills out of the neighborhood. But, and a lot of you may be in the same boat. So a lot of times it's that. If you can get to a main road that has more traffic and it's treated, a lot of times you're going to be okay, to get in. But if you have to negotiate hills, that's a problem. And neighborhood, untreated roads can be an issue. So you have to use your own judgment on your local area. As far as what we're expecting, the later it gets tonight, the more chances for icy roads. Right now, while it's snowing, we've got that chance for a dusting that could stick to the area roads because now we're getting at or below freezing, and then the moisture on the roads will continue to freeze. The colder it gets, obviously, the more it get icier, and that's going to be, so as we go later this evening, your risk level goes up. Early on, the better. Later on, it could be icy and slick. Now, hopefully, they'll have a chance to treat those roads. So while you're at work tonight and come home in the morning, maybe it'll be better in the morning, but it could be icy. Is upper teens to low 20s expected in the morning. Will there be school closings for Cumberland County? I have no idea. Sorry, that's a cop-out, right? No, I really don't know. Go to one of the best tools, and I think every TV station has this, but WBIR.com, our website, and I know it's Channel 10. I'm a little biased here. Actually, the school closings link is excellent because as soon as folks put that in there, whoosh, shows up. So if you want to just hop over, click on the school closings. It's on our app. You can check on it right now and go to the website and you'll see it, scrolling. And then if you're watching TV on Channel 10, it'll always be scrolling at the bottom. I really don't know. I'm not sure. I know there was a handful of schools that were still going to be closed tomorrow. There'll probably be delays. You can see delays coming. That's my guess, but I don't know. Again, we just do the forecast. Grapple and Maryville. Josh Marler, thank you. He distinguished between sleet and grapple. Very good, Josh. Very good. Dippin' Dots, a little bit of that. You got some mixing going on in the atmosphere. Thank you, Josh. And Josh is a former Channel 10 worker as well. Loves weather, great meteorologist. And ham radio operator and storm spotter as well. Josh does a little bit of everything. But yeah, you get grapples like that, little snow pellet, Dippin' Dots, and snow grain, different from sleet, which is more icy. So anyway, thank you for that report. That's in Maryville. Let's see, Union County, Anthony, we talked about Sharps Chapel, Mendigo, black ice, and light snow, anywhere from a dusting to a half-inch possible. Let me go back to radar while we're showing this. And again, it looks like a little bit of a break here in the valley right now, but we're seeing more of the snow showers that are going to be working their way in. And that's the issue, is it doesn't have to snow a whole lot. And amounts-wise, it's not expected to be a whole lot. We're expecting a dusting to a half-inch possible. So just to reiterate, that's our potential snowfall. This is a contour we're using, though, yeah, not so much, right? It misses that on the plateau. So just go ahead and paint your dusting to a half-inch on the plateau right there. It's a model. A lot of school, yeah, Nancy says a lot of schools are closed. Snow in Knoxville, Frida. I don't know if you're saying it is snowing. Yeah, let us know. Let me know. I'm looking at it right here. You can see what I'm looking at. Thank y'all. Some guys right there talking about the weather. Here's what we're. Let me go back to. I want to go back to Dandridge and check on the snow right there. Is it going to be the safe for the school buses for the kids in the morning? Says Dina. Again, it's still probably doing the same thing, just kind of mixing there. We'll have to wait and see. That's a developing situation. We're expecting there to be some icy and slick roads that are untreated. Just, if nothing else, just due to the cold temperatures. Much less, even if we get, a dusting to a half inch or nothing, still going to be potential icing. So we already have that risk with the temperatures and the cold ground in place, no matter what. But the 1-2 punch, as we were talking about, the black ice, the freezing icy roads, but then the light snow on top of that. And that's what we're seeing. Again, that's a live look, and I know it says tower camera. That's Dandridge right now. Sorry. All right, so that's what we're looking at. Let's see. Tish, you're quite welcome. What's happening in Morristown? Looks like you've got a wintry mix going on in Morristown right now. Matter of fact, in the Lakeway area, working its way from Dandridge, Jefferson City, up toward Talbot. Coming out of Jeff County into Hamlin County, and especially on the east side. So going east of Morristown toward Russellville, Bulls Gap into Hawkins County, and down toward Mohawk, over toward White Pine and Jeff County. Looks like you've got that wintry mix on radar developing now. More of that light snow's coming in. Looks like it's picking up actually near Oak Ridge, but particularly Clinton to Rocky Top. So if you're watching in Clinton and Rocky Top, Andersonville, Norris, Sharps Chapel, Maynardville eventually, up toward La Follette, Cove Lake getting some snow right now. Let me take that full, sorry, so you can see it better. I'll zoom on in. That's what we're seeing right now. Already have a dusting in East Maryville just in the last few minutes, says Kelly Bashard. Kelly, thank you for that report. So now, see, that's interesting. It doesn't look like it's been, let's use this one, Todd. It doesn't look like it's been snowing for that long, but that's just that little band right there. So that's a good update right there that we just got from Kelly in Maryville. A light dusting in East Maryville, and that's from that right there. And it's just kind of going on by, just that little band that went through. Okay, so that's an example of the of just a little. It only takes a little bit to create a light coating, light rain snow mix. If Clifford, let us know where you're located, if you don't mind. Wintry mix in Clinton, that should be picking up shortly. Barbara, watching from Lenoir City. Rachel's in Greene County. How about Lenoir City, says Barbara. Oh, you want the forecast. Yeah, Lenoir City, right now I'm not seeing a lot. You're expecting to see that light wintry mix to light snow and maybe a coating or a dusting possible, but if nothing else, the icy and slick roads possible. Lenoir City this past weekend, you got right about 4.5 inches of snow. Some areas got a little bit more, some areas a little bit less around the area. Well, I get off at 11 tonight, says Miss C. Would it be okay going home to Maynardville? Could be a little bit slick, to be honest with you. You got to be careful. I don't know if I'm assuming if you're talking about going from Knoxville up Highway 33, going Fountain City Halls right up to Maynardville from, I'm assuming Maynardville Highway. That's an assumption. We'll just have to see how you gotta. That's a main thoroughfare for the most part, but again, it gets a little colder, and it's going to be having snow. It's going to already have snow between 8 and 11, and it may be picking up a little bit between 8 and 11. So we'll have to watch that. Streets are getting slick. Judy Burnett, Judy, if you could let us know where. If y'all could put your city or location. If you don't want to put your city or just your county. If you don't mind putting your city there, that'd be fantastic. And you may have already said that earlier, so I apologize. I'm catching up. Clifford's in Morristown. Oh, thank you, Clifford, in Morristown. Thank you, bud. Snow sticking to cars in Harriman. Thank you for that report, Rachel. Sevierville getting sleet. Thank you for that report, Amber. Missy, you come from Powell. Oh, okay, I got you. So you're going to go Emory Road over to Halls and then take a left and go up Highway 33. I guess that's unless you go. I wouldn't go a back road. I know there may be a faster way to go there, but probably would stay off the back roads. I'd stick to an Emory Road to Maynardville Highway. And that's just a general rule of thumb. Anytime we have snow, icy roads, stick to the main roads if at all possible. I know we have to get out of our neighborhoods. You never show white pine. You know what we're going to do, Nancy? We're going to show white pine. Sorry. Hey, we can't. This is just our base map. I got a tickle out of that. And it can't show every one of our cities, but I hear you. It's good to see your town. I hear you. That's what we're going to do right now. We got to. And by the way, speaking of white pine, looks like you're getting some snow there. As soon as it pops up here in a second, let's see. Where are you, white pine? We'll get there in a minute. I'm on a different base map right now, so we'll see if we can find it for you. There's Newport. And of course, that's classic, right? When you're looking for, I'm on a different base map. I think I'm gonna have to go to my other radar map. Oh, there it is. That's because Todd wasn't looking at the radar. There's white pine. Sorry. Zoomed on in too close. All right, there you are. White pine, east of Dandridge, north of Bayberry. Yep, you've had some snow that's tracking through the eastern portion of Jefferson County. And yes, white pine since due south on 25E of Morristown, which is up in Hambly County. So yeah, white pine, you're seeing some light snow showers right now. The side streets off Sutherland and Liberty are slick. Oh, thank you, Judy, for that location. Now, Judy, if you don't mind, are you seeing, you may have said this a moment ago, slick, have you been seeing, I don't go back and see, sleet? Are you seeing snow, or is that slick because it's getting icy because it's below freezing now? If you don't mind clarifying that, I sure would appreciate that. They called off school in Lenoir City. Tomorrow says Barbara Sands. All right, and I'm just relaying that, so be sure. Barbara, I trust that's, of course, accurate info. You're relaying that. Anything I say here, just make sure you check. No official, right? Snowing in White Pine. Thank you, Nikki. Yes. Do we know anything about Knox County schools so far, regular time? Somebody said, Kimberly, hopefully it will change. School is in session tomorrow, regular time, says Melanie Powell. And again, it says right now, I would, let me come back on camera here. Be sure to check back because things are developing and, the roads are still wet in some areas now. It's going to be colder overnight. We're seeing some light snow. There could be a thin coating developing and it could be more icy overnight. So just check back. Just make sure and check back and check in to see if that still holds in your area. Overnight tonight, again, you can check right here on the app, on the stream. WBR.com online, and of course tonight we'll have that running at the bottom of the screen. All kinds of ways to find that information out. So, Sindel says Roane County schools are closed tomorrow. Let's see. Angela says, why can't Knox County call at a decent time if schools are closed? Actually, I'll be honest with you. We were, I can't speak for Knox County. Obviously, I was slightly surprised even yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, for today they were closed. I think that call came in about 5:10, roughly. Don't hold me that. I think it was just after 5 o'clock, between 5 and 5:30. I think I remember seeing 5:10 from the office. So actually, they do the best they can. They do try to make that call. I can personally vouch for that because a lot of times we see it's typically 5:30, 6 p.m., somewhere in that hour because they know people are watching and they're wanting to give people as much heads up as they can. I think that's always their goal. They do a really good job. It's complicated. They got to take care of a bunch of areas, and it's just not plain and simple. There's still some roads that are slushy and snow covered in rural areas, so that's the whole issue there. Now, as far as I know, we were above freezing. I know the rain melted a lot of the snow off, and right now it may look fine, but we got another little system that's adding some moisture to the roads, and we're getting colder, so we could be going back to icy and a little snow-covered roads in some areas. So just check back whether there's delays for tomorrow morning or closings or, half days or some variation. Nancy Whitnack says snow real heavy. Can you let us know where that is, Nancy? Got a mix in Blaine, 35 here in Strawberry Plains, raining. Snowing in Kingston, Vicki Edwards, thank you so much. And again, I'm just going through this. Monroe County Schools, close tomorrow, okay. And y'all can read the same thing. Makes me laugh, Jacqueline. Can you call the superintendent and tell him to call? No, I can't. John's a great, I tell you what, I did an interview with him. He's fantastic. He's great. He keeps it real. I mean, I think he does a fantastic job. He's great. But no, I cannot do that. We got our hands full with just trying to get it right, the weather in East Tennessee. I know, and everybody said, yep, amen to that. I'm having fun. I used to be on the other side of it, so I hear you. All right, my mom's yard is white in Blount County. Okay, so that's already with that little band. Again, it doesn't take much. Let me see what our temperature is. We may already be, I'm assuming here we are at what, 8:15. We're probably 32 or 31. I'm guessing at the airport. Let's see what it is now. No, it's still 33. Guessed wrong. 32 in Maryville, so we're still holding at 33 right now. Let me tell you, so 33, got light snow. It doesn't have to be freezing snow. It's all what's happening above our heads. It's plenty cold enough above us. So it's just a matter of time when it drops down below freezing. So that's, yeah, so anyway, just wanted to check on those current temperatures again to go back. What is Oak Ridge? So we still have a little bit of warm pockets. Oak Ridge is 34, Dandridge 34, Pigeon Forge 34. So again, that at the time that's helping right now. We didn't want the temperatures to crash, but notice it's below freezing. It's 33 in Maynardville, 31 La Follette, it's 28 in Crossville, 29 in Williamsburg. And again, our lows tonight are expected to be about 24 in Knoxville and Maryville, maybe 21, even colder in Oak Ridge and Maynardville. And you got some of those upper teens up in Kentucky in the plateau. So it's not just how cold it's going to get with the air temperatures because that ground is so cold. So again, the main concerns tonight, twofold. Black ice, any moisture could refreeze anywhere across the region. So it's not confined to just the plateau mountains. It's the valley. It's going to be cold pretty much everywhere, and even colder though up on the plateau. A dusting to a ½ inch is possible, and maybe up to an inch in parts of Virginia over the higher ridge tops. Could get a little bit more. It's not a big snowfall event, but it could be impactful because the cold ground moving in, the cold air moving in with the cold ground, and the light snowfall that is helping to stick, especially on elevated surfaces, but even some of those roads that we're already getting reports that it's starting to stick a little bit. Okay, list bells and halls. My car is covered in what looks like a mix. Base layer looks frozen like a glazed donut with sprinkles. Cassie Nall made one of those pictures one time talking about the difference between freezing rain and sleet. And the freezing rain was the glazed donut, and the sleet, she used donuts, for example, the donut with sleet had sprinkles on it. It's kind of funny. It makes us all hungry when we show it. Just started snowing in Washburn. Just came over Clinch Mountain. Thank you, Teresa. These are coming in fast. Thank you, guys. Nancy just came over Clinch Mountain, 25 north. Visibility was 0. Could not see the road for snow. Horrible conditions. Thank you, Nancy, for that report. When did you send that? That just came in, I think. Thank you for tracking the weather live. You're welcome, Beth. Drove in two-wheel drive my Silverado 1500 last Saturday for fun, and tales for fun. Okay, Tyler, be safe out there. No snow in Clinton yet. It's got to be coming. Oh, check again about 5 or 10 minutes. It looks like it's sliding in. So let me zoom on in for you. In Clinton and up toward Rocky Top. That's what it's looking like right now. I'm gonna take it full so you can see it. Norris, no wonder, it's right on your doorstep. So here we go. Norris looks like it's about to move in for you. Rocky Top, this is a decent band of snow right here. So Rocky Top, Norris, and again, we'll widen on out. So Clinton and near Oak Ridge. So we got, yeah, we're continuing to see that along 25W, Clinton Highway, and working its way, again, from as you work your way from Frost Bottom, Marlowe Community, and heading up toward Rocky Top, that would be. Norris and Andersonville seeing some snow for you in your neck of the woods. So that's what it looks like right now, and that's continuing to come on down in parts of the plateau and working its way down in the valley. Okay, snowing hard in Sevierville off of Dolly Parton Parkway. We've got a camera, so let's go back and see that. Let's see if that's showing up here. And I apologize, I probably could have checked on that one a little bit earlier to see if it comes up. This is our live this is our live camera. Well, we're looking from Sevierville toward Pigeon Forge. And again, that may be more on the Pigeon Forge, Sevierville line, but and have to look at a dark object in the background. I can't really see any snow right now falling. It looks wet. And again, I have to go back and let's go back and check radar and see where that is in Sevierville right now. And it just may be not exactly at our camera location, obviously. So let's see what we got in Sevier County. Again, that report, that may have been earlier. Sevierville looks like they had a little bit of a break right now, Sevierville, so that no wonder we don't see that falling. But earlier we did. And there's some more coming in from Wallen, Seymour, Boyd's Creek, up to Kodak, Dandridge, up toward White Pine. We're seeing some of those snow showers working their way through Sevier and Jefferson County right now and back toward Greenville. Greenville and boy, Greene County, Hawkins County. That's where some moderate to heavier snow is coming down right now. That's likely covering everything. Bean Station, blowing flurries in Clinton, so it's just starting to pick up there. Thank you, Carol Lee. Campbell County in Vasper, says Janet Hembry. Let's see, Dandridge. We've been showing some of that mixed precipitation that's showing up on our camera. In Dandridge, just raining in Wallen, says Andrea. Thank you for that report. Will Rutledge get any snow? Likely going to see at least a light coating and dusting. There's that, still looks like it's that mix. This is our live Douglas Lake camera in Dandridge. Still looks like it's holding on to some rain, just some wet snowflakes. Everyone please drive with caution, stay safe out there. Thank you, Linda. We had rain, then went right to snow. Nancy, where are you located, Nancy? Thank you, Jacqueline. No snow in Clinton yet. 30 in Petros. Thank you. In Morgan County, let's see, just started snowing in Washburn. I think I mentioned that earlier. I'm going back. Betty says snow in Knoxville, snowing hard in Maryville, Tennessee, near Townsend. Thank you for that report, Gabrielle, Faith. It's sleeting in Rutledge right now a moment ago. Nothing in Washburn yet. Granger County already closed tomorrow, just relaying that. Sandra says I live in the middle of Morristown. No snow, sleet, or rain at my house at this time as of 8:14. So it was 8 minutes ago. So not much happening right there at the time. They're scattered. It's not necessarily widespread everywhere continuously, but again, as radar pops up here, seeing some of those scattered bands of that mixed precipitation, mixed rain, sleet, and a little bit more of that light snow. Let me go back to, let's take a look at our Futurecast because we've probably gotten a model update. Actually, I don't think I've shown you that to you yet. Apologies. We haven't gotten that far yet. So, and I'll take a few more questions, wrap up here in a moment, but don't mind answering as much as I can. Here's a look at one. We have two high-res models. I'll show them both just to show you what both show. And here's what we're looking at. This is, so we're coming up on 8:30. And so this was every hour. So this is what it's showing for the darker blue is snow and the pink is mixed. So it's kind of showing from 9, let's see, that's 9, 10 p.m. I've got these pause points in place here. Then by 11, it's kind of shifting on more toward eastern areas. Maybe it will still have some leftover flurries, but it's mainly just an evening event, not going to be a long duration event, mainly between now and about 10 to 11 p.m. So several more hours worth of this light snowfall in general, but could produce a coating, at least a thin coating, enough to coat some roads that are falling below freezing and otherwise icy conditions underneath with the cold air and that cold ground in place. So that's the main concern. And then that one will kind of, it wants to keep it around Dandridge, Newport, Jefferson County, Cott County, and Sevier County, Greene County a little bit longer before it tapers off and just flurries, becoming partly cloudy, chilly, and dry tomorrow as we go through our Thursday. All right, this is a different model. Let me kind of back it up here and show. And I will say this. Neither one, this model or the other one, has handled the light snow showers coming off the plateau very well. It more formed up in Kentucky in the plateau than what our modeling was showing. So there's that. So it may not be handling that back edge very well. We're looking at, again, this one updates more frequently, every 30 minutes. So there's a look at that light to moderate snow showers. Kind of this is 9 p.m. Let me let it play on through. There is 10 p.m. Is that 10? Yeah. So its focus is kind of to shift everything a little bit more east, and maybe a little fast, but its focus is to shift everything east by 10 to 11 p.m. Again, same areas for Jefferson, Sevier, and Cocke County. So that's kind of, both are showing that trend. Eventually, once we get past 9 to 10 p.m., that focus for the snow will be shifting eastward. So eastern areas will have a better chance for that snowfall as we go between about 10 to midnight, roughly. It still shows that lingering, and then I'll just let this play on out. Then morning clouds give way to some, it still has some clouds around through 9 a.m., but decreasing clouds tomorrow morning and a little bit drier. So that's a check of what we're seeing as far as our Futurecast. Snow is peppering in Blaine and Luttrell, coming out of Union County to Granger County. Thank you, Candy Pollard, for that report. What about Jacksboro up in Campbell County? Again, let's see. Actually, there's that decent snow band that is coming down into Anderson County. We were talking about Clinton. Check again in Clinton, see if you got it now. It may still be slowly working in. I think you have blowing flurries, somebody said a moment ago. Lots of sleet here, and then snow, says Cindy, in Jefferson City. We've had a dusting just outside city limits of Jefferson City, so thank you for that report. Lisbeth says a lot of moisture on the ground in my house and halls. Yeah, that's one of the main concerns. Now, in addition to the roads, and again, here's where we're seeing Rocky Top and Clinton. Looks like that's working its way in. Jacksboro. Yeah, you've got some light snow showers that have been working their way through. Jacksboro, of course, just between Caryville and La Follette. Some of our mapping, again, cities pop up at different intervals. I have to zoom on in. So there's Jacksboro, and here's what we're seeing right now as I stop the radar. We've seen some light snow working its way through portions of Campbell County right there. So that's what we're looking at in Campbell County. And again, all this is kind of rotating on in. You can see, by the way, more of the snow showers extending up to Virginia, North Carolina. It's actually it's a weak area of low pressure, but just enough spin and lift in the atmosphere to get this wintry weather going. It's not a very strong system, but just enough of a lift in the atmosphere with more cold air moving in. So again, La Follette has sleet and snow and slick roads. McMinn and Monroe counties, we're not seeing as much in the Southern Valley with this system so far. Not expecting as much in the Southern Valley areas. It's mainly across the plateau into the Central Valley and the mountains and foothills and northward. That's the expectation. You may see a little bit. Now, you will have potential, unfortunately, for seeing some icy roadways as temperatures continue to plunge. So you're still looking at potential black ice across McMinn and Monroe counties, even if you don't see as much of the snow. And that's true for anywhere. Regardless of if we get snow or not, icy roads are possible due to the moisture potentially refreezing as we get down to the 20s and teens and with that cold ground in place. Let's see. I think I've answered most of your questions. And let's see if I can go back. And yeah, thank you all so much for chiming in on that. And I appreciate your reports. It helps us all to know what we're seeing and to have a better idea. Again, so just to recap, main concern, black ice and light covering of snow possible on some untreated back roads, secondary roads, and some bridges and overpasses. And those elevated surfaces certainly could be icy and a thin layer of snow on top of those. So use caution. Just be mindful and know that the roads could be icy and slick overnight tonight and tomorrow morning. So that's the main heads up. And again, especially those that are not treated. The ones they can treat in the main thoroughfares hopefully will be better and should be improving tomorrow. Even the ones that are icy in the morning early, if you give it some time, those should be improving during the day as we get above freezing but chilly in the upper 30s for you Thursday. Well, before we go, I'd be remiss if I didn't show you, for those who are, okay, I'm done with wintry weather, I'm ready for spring. A lot of folks said that after these past 2 weekends, right? Well, the good news for you, next week, we get a good thaw. Look at that. 50s and 60s, upper 50s to lower 60s for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, with even some rain showers maybe coming our way. And so a chilly Thursday, Saturday still looking kind of cold and chilly. By the way, and we're definitely just the messenger on this next, there is another disturbance coming in late Friday night. For the eastern half of our region, another wintry mix possible. Hang in there. Friday night, early Saturday morning. we'll probably be back to talk about that a little bit. But anyway, once that one moves through, it's just because winter and cold air is trying to hang on before it warms up. Then by Sunday, I got a 49. Some of our models have us above 50, in the low 50s, so we'll see. And some models have us near 60 Monday. So we're going to see that nice warm up starting the second half of the weekend on into next week. So if you're kind of tired of the wintry weather and the cold, hang in there. A little bit of a thaw is coming your way. Didn't the groundhog just say so? Oh, we won't talk about that. Hey, folks, thank you for joining us. Have a good, safe night. Again, if you don't have to get out on the roads, probably best not to. If you don't have to, they could be slick and icy overnight and in the morning, and we'll keep you updated. Have a good, safe night.